Welcome back to the news today. The issue of foreign funding for non-governmental organizations based in Israel is a charged and controversial one. As recently as last month, Israeli Justice Minister Ayelet Shaked promoted what she called the Transparency Bill, which would require NGOs who receive most of their funding from foreign governments to declare so. It's a topic that continues to divide along ideological lines, with both the left and right accusing one another of being manipulated by external forces. Here with me to discuss are Douglas Altabef, Executive Board Member of the Tertzoo movement. Good evening to you. And Dr. Ishai Menuchin, Executive Director of the Public Committee Against Torture. Good evening to you as well.
Good evening.
Mr. Altabef, I want to begin with you and the Tertzoo campaign, which has been causing a lot of controversy here in Israel over the past few days. Now, let's explain to our viewers a little bit. The Tertzoo campaign that we're talking about not only points out several organizations here in Israel as receiving funding from sources abroad, outside of Israel, but it also names a few individuals and calls them planted by these foreign sources in Israeli society, maybe to hurt Israeli society. You must understand why the critics of this campaign are finding this hard to believe, that these people are planted.
Correct. Let's start at the beginning, which is the obvious question which you posed, which is why did we do this campaign? And the campaign is a comprehensive one. It is not limited to the movie, the short movie, which has gotten quite a bit of attention. The simple answer to the question of why we're doing the campaign is that these are very disturbing and very dangerous times, and many things have come together at Israel's peril. First and foremost, right now, there is rampant terror in the streets of Israel. Terror that has the only common thread to it is to have violence against Jews, qua Jews. In other words, it's racist-based terror. Secondly, at the same time, we have seen a growing number of Israeli-based NGOs who have taken it upon themselves to try to neuter the efforts of the IDF, of the police, of the border police, to defend the people of Israel. And conversely, worse than that, have taken those efforts to defend and tried to claim that they are war crimes or crimes against humanity or other forms of demonization of the State of Israel and its core institutions.
Well, on that point of demonization, people feel like the people who were named in these videos are being demonized and they're exposed to danger.
We'll get to that. But
I want to let Dr. Menuchin just briefly comment to you.
I'd like to just finish, though, the answer, because the issue of four people, all of whom, by the way, are highly public figures, and all of whom chose to make themselves into public figures. We did not pull names out of a phone book. We did not find the office boys in these organizations. All of these are people who have been very happy to, and here's one of the key points, all of these organizations have taken money from European governmental-related organizations who have a pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel agenda and who have partnered with NGOs who share that, by the way, that pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel agenda, to partner with them to further that agenda.
Yes, Dr.
All of these organizations have taken money from European governmental-related organizations who have a pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel agenda and who have partnered with NGOs who share that, by the way, that pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel agenda, to partner with them to further that agenda.
Yes, Dr. Menuchin, you're one of the people named in these videos, as we know. Your comment on what Mr. Altabef just told us.
I will start with transparency. We are reporting 4 times a year all our foreign funding to the Register of Amutot, and once a year we send to the IRS everything. All the information that is needed to see our budgets is in the internet or GuideStar internet website. So transparency is not the reason. The reason is political. The reason is that we are standing for universal values, and Israel as democracy, we are fighting human rights abuses and the ongoing occupation, and they don't like it. So they said that we are public figures. We are not public figures, but okay, even if we are public figures, this movie is incitement clear-cut in silence.
Appearing on Al Jazeera makes one a public figure, I would think.
I will say that using the fear in the street and telling people, next time someone will come to stab you, you don't know who this person is, this terrorist. But you should know that Ishai is protecting him, that Haggai is going to say that the one that stopped his war criminal, etc., etc. Meaning telling the public, look, we don't know who are the terrorists that are going to come here, but we can give you names of people that you can hate now.
You know, this
So
is a
it's-
little bit like
it's-
this is a little
it's
bit like
really-
the man who kills his parents and then asks mercy from the court because he's an orphan. This is chutzpah 101. This is a little
it's
bit like
really-
the man who kills his parents and then asks mercy from the court because he's an orphan. This is chutzpah 101. In other words,
yes, but
it
I
is
want
chutzpah to be
finish,
seeking to
sorry, I
attack,
want to finish my
to attack
point.
Israel and then claim that you are the victims of being
I'm
attacked.
sorry that you feel that way, but I never put a face of a leader of any right-wing organization and told the people, you need to hate him, you need to punish him, you need to maybe kill him.
No, it's much
But-
worse.
But
What you've
I
done
want,
is much worse.
But, you know,
you have put
but
18
it-
and 19-year-olds at the risk of being
The
held
difference
accountable
between me
for war
and you-
crimes and
accusation
crimes against
accusing
humanity.
Israelis who are
Children,
basically
our
defending
sons and
rights.
daughters who are serving their
Gentlemen, let me-
Let me finish my point, and don't be so smart. There is a problem here. This is incitement, and they're telling us you are not really Israelis. I mean, I want to say one thing. I served 4.5 years in the regular army, and then 22 years a reserve. I finished this 28 years of army service, 26 years of army service with major rank. And these people telling me that I'm not a patriot, that I'm not doing it for Israel. The main problem is that we are not going to stop, even though they try to intimidate us, we are not going to stop to defend human rights, to defend democracy, and they don't like it because they want not democratic Jewish state.
That's exactly the point I want to ask you about, Mr. Altabef. This is a point that Dr. Menuhin is making about being an Israeli, operating from the point of view of being an Israeli. Isn't accusing fellow Israelis who are upholding human rights of people around them, of being accomplices to terror, a dramatic accusation? You're exposing them. Aren't you concerned that you're putting them in harm's way?
First of all,
And not
no
only
one
us,
is accusing
the
them of
Danish
not being
government,
Israelis.
The Swedish government, the Dutch government that support us. Right now, the only people that support us are friendly state to Israel, and the one that support Tרצו is a reverend Haggai that is said that Hitler was a wonderful person that did what God meant him to do.
Well, let's allow Mr.
Okay,
Altabef
first
to
of all,
comment on that.
you're playing very loose with non-facts. Secondly, but I want to get
He's
back
not
to your point.
paying you money?
No,
He
he's not.
didn't
No,
donate
once.
you
Once, 10
And
years
big-
ago.
No, you were not exist 10 years ago.
No. We did exist
5
in
years ago.
2007. He gave us money one time. We get no government money. We get no government money, and we certainly don't get money from governments that are trying to effect foreign policy in Israel through the back door,
So
which
this is the
is
problem,
through
that it's the
NGOs.
government money?
Well, I'll tell you something. You know, you talk about democracies. The democracy that's called the United States has a law that says that no NGO in the United States is allowed to accept foreign government money. Why? Because it's highly manipulative. It's highly corrosive. It's highly destructive to democracy, because democracy means the people of Israel determining what is best for themselves, not
I want to bring
the
you
people
back to
of
our
Belgium
original
or
question,
Sweden.
though. On that point, our
Right.
original question isn't accusing Israelis like yourself of terrorism or accomplices to terrorism or defending terrorists, helping them get away with their attacks, a dramatic accusation that's putting
It's
people
no less
like Dr. Menuhin in a very dangerous situation.
Accusation that 18 and 19-year-olds are guilty of war crimes, that the Shin Bet, thank God for the Shin Bet, is torturing people left and right, that government officials are guilty of crimes against humanity. You talk about public figures. The kid down the street from me, who's a 19-year-old kid in Golani, he's not a public figure. He is serving his country. He was drafted into the army to serve his country. Shame on these people for leveling the inference, even the inference, not even have to say name, rank, and serial number, that they are committing war crimes.
Well, Dr. Menuhin, one of the main points of contention for left-wing organizations, let's call them that, is that their activities abroad, not only within Israel. People are saying that right now the last thing Israel needs is for someone to defame it abroad and cause further diplomatic crises for the country. Can you see that point? Can you see what they're arguing?
I can see what they're arguing, but they're not arguing about the right things. For example, we are working inside Israel. Every complaint about torture done by the Israeli Security Agency, we are sending to the General Attorney of Israel. Every complaint that we have about a policeman, we are sending to the military, not to the military, to the police, investigation police. When we have complaints about a soldier, we send it to the military investigation police. So we are working a lot inside Israel. Actually, the statistic that we have, that we issued more than 1,000 complaints since 2001, and not one even criminal investigation started about torture by Israeli Security Agency agents, is based on things that we send to the different departments in Israel. Actually, the Israeli Ministry of Justice sent us the report to the UN Committee Against Torture and ask our remarks before they are sending it to the UN. So all this bullshit working outside only, etc., it's not true. We are working inside. We are working with the government. We are working a lot with the government. I just read this morning, Yuval Diskin said that he read our report from the front to the last page every time that we published, because he said he don't like us, but he learned a lot from the things that we are writing, with the studies we are doing. Now, when we are finishing it, we're publishing it in Hebrew and English, and of course, it's everyone that wants to take it and to use it is welcome.